What is good people? To start this video off right. Don't worry about that right there. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. She's been running for a while. Perfectly. You hear. Perfect. But yeah, we're gonna talk about how much this whole thing cost me. Get y'all situated if you want to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and turn her off. Yeah, I couldn't be more happier. I really couldn't. I could not be any more happier how easy the swap was. Let me turn it off. Couldn't be more happier with the swap. It was really simple. Honestly, I did a case swap on the Integra. This was easier. As far as, well, putting the engine in is harder because, yeah, but this was cheaper. Definitely cheaper. All in all, we're talking about just for this whole swap, it's going to end up costing me less than $3,000. The engine cost me $2,000 because I got the guy was selling the engine. He was selling the engine with a transmission, and I didn't want the transmission. I wanted to keep my 5-speed. Let me take that off. That in the middle of the whole conversation, just beeping. So I wanted to keep my 5-speed. So to keep things simpler, and I didn't want to pay that much for the 8-speed and have to do all that. I didn't want to do all that. So just to keep it simple, he was selling the engine and transmission for, I believe, $3,500 is what he wanted. And I said, hey, transmission is normally $1,500 for these cars. I'll give you $2,000. Let me get that engine today, right? It was a BGE motor, so to me, even if something was wrong with the motor, I can get it rebuilt. I can do all that, and we wouldn't have too much of a problem. If I was starting from that point of a BGE block, I was cool. So right off bat, $2,000. Now, everything else is real simple if you already have a 5.7. Mind you, this is a 2009, not a 2015 and up. This is a 2009. All the wiring plugs up perfectly, except, so you're going to have to extend the mass airflow sensor, right? You're going to have to extend that back there. So this sensor wire has to be extended. Easy. There's only 3 wires. And luckily this engine came with a cut harness. So I just used the actual wires from the other harness to cut them, splice them in, same colors, it worked perfectly. All right. Didn't cost me nothing. We're still at $2,000. I had motor mounts. I had brand new motor mounts already on my 5.7. So I just swapped those over to work with my cradle. Didn't cost me nothing. So like I said, if you already have a 5.7, this is what helps. Keep that engine until you're done taking everything from it. So I did have to swap the cam shaft position sensor, which is underneath the block on the bottom of the block, closer to the transmission back there. I swapped that out. So it's plug and play with my harness. Didn't cost me nothing. Took it from my old block. I mean, oil, coolant, that kind of stuff, you're going to do an oil change on your 5.7, so that doesn't count to me. You know, easy stuff. That didn't cost me nothing. We're still at $2,000, right? So I did have to extend the power to get the power steering pump to work with this because it was an electric power steering system. So I had to put little nuts and washers to extend this out a little bit to get the serpentine belt to work. Didn't cost me nothing. Again, luckily for me, the engine came with a AC unit. Didn't cost nothing. Came with the alternator. Didn't cost me nothing. So we're still at $2,000. Haven't spent a dime. Now I'll get into what I mean. Bolts right up to the transmission. Bolts right up to your stock torque converter. Perfectly, not a problem. Now, what we will have to spend money on, which I haven't done yet, okay? I'm gonna get the MMX, the Modern Muscle Madness, whatever that thing is called. It's called MMX though, that's the site. The SRV controller, I believe it's the SRV controller, which controls the shorty runners in the intake. So this right here is not plugged up yet. So that's not a big deal. We're gonna get that done. But the car is running, driving. As you can see, it was running. I drove around the block real quick, not going past 2,000 RPM. It shifts perfectly, not a problem. So that is like $250 for the controller, which is dope because that's a great price for something that is very essential. And it's plug and play, literally. It has like a dial that you can adjust to when it opens up the runners, which is really simple. And you just plug it into one of your coil packs, which they recommend you plug it into, I think, 3rd cylinder coil pack. And you can adjust to like 4,500 to where you want the runners inside the intake, the active runners, to open up. Real simple. Okay, that's $250. So we're at $2,250. Then I'm going to need to get a tune, an actual tune for this. Yes, it does run, it does drive, but with the stock ECU, not knowing the displacement of the engine and the camshaft, the open, all that stuff with the camshaft, I don't want to run it that much and drive it too far, get it up to speed past 3,000 RPM. You definitely don't want to do that. So that is going to cost me about $700. Most tuners in Southern California, they charge $700 to tune your car. And I spoke with a tuner directly for these. He's from what I've seen on his YouTube channel and stuff, he does this. He's in Riverside. I think Reed Performance, actually. I spoke with Reed Performance, and he told me that he would do the tune for $700. We're looking at $2,950 so far for the swap. I mean, what can you complain about? So for the hoses, to keep the prices down for now, I might change the hoses later if it has any problems. But I use the upper radiator hose that comes with the 6.4 to work, so it can, and I put that at the bottom down there. See that? Down here, I use that one. See how it comes around? I use the upper one because on the 6.4 radiator, the top hose, the top fitting is on this side instead of on this side, like on this one, and then the bottom fitting is on that side instead of that. So I just used I did go buy a 5.7 upper radiator hose just to have a brand new one, a fresh one, but I reused the bottom one. I reused the top one from the 6.4, and that worked out perfectly for me. So that one's actually from an SRTG. So again, cost saving down. I paid $20 for that. And you don't, if you already have the 5.7 one, which I do, I didn't need to buy this. I already have it. Okay. 5.7 serpentine belt, brand new. I'm not counting that in the cost. But to swap the motor in, we're looking at about $3,000. Now, you're probably not going to be able to find this good of a motor running this good for under $3,000. You're most likely not. I highly doubt it. But I got blessed and found this. You got to remember, people don't like, you can always offer these people some money because the consumer who's buying the product doesn't like to buy something that's already out of the car and you can't hear it running, because that's a gamble. So people are not going to pay $5,000 top for a used engine that you don't know. These engines are notorious for having Hemi ticks and all that, and lifter problems, and you don't know what you're getting until you start the car. And then you're going to have to go through the hassle of arguing with the person who sold you the motor, and nobody wants to deal with all that, right? Me, I'm usually okay with taking that gamble. It has, trust me, in the past I have bought a bad Honda motor that had a pretty much dead cylinder, but ended up rebuilding the motor, doing all that. But anyway, for everybody else, this is a gamble. But yeah, let's start her up again, because that's the best part of this. Let's just listen to how easy. I just want y'all to hear how easy this thing starts up, how smooth it is. And this with a locked 5.7 PCM. Remember that, locked 5.7 PCM. Smooth. Absolutely smooth. No knocks, no ticking, no misfires, nothing. Now she's about to sit for a minute. Roll the windows up. She is going to sit for a minute until I decide to get it tuned. Decide if I want to go to Arm and Tune up here in Victorville, or drive down to Riverside, go with Reed Performance for the tune. So we'll see. No complaints here. She's dirty. She's definitely dirty. She's been sitting for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years she's been sitting. So It's definitely dirty. But as you can see by the tire marks, I have driven her up and down the block.
My toe hurts.
And she ran perfectly. Look at that orange block. Yes, can't be mad at all. But yeah, all right, we'll have more content coming soon. We're gonna slide this thing around. We're gonna have some fun with it, take it to the drag strip, stuff like that. But first, gotta get the SRV controller. I keep calling it SRV controller. I don't even know if that's for sure what it's called. Get that controller, and then we gotta get it tuned in. Also get a Scatpack or Hellcat intake box, because you can't just keep running it like that. You don't want to be sucking in random stuff. So pause. But yeah, we good to go, boys. This is straight. Just to let y'all know, it does not cost much to swap this in there.